Mike McConville here, one more time, Stratford, Ontario, Canada. Let me start this conversation with why the customer brought the base in to begin with. So this was the original nut. It had snapped off. Fairly common problem, not really a big deal. Well, the last place he brought it to obviously was not really set up to do this type of work. They decided to put a narrower nut on, and that was further complicated because they super glued it into place. Anyway, I got that out. I took a piece of Corian and fabricated a replacement nut, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So I think what was really missed is this is a 50s reissue precision base, and the necks were quite a bit wider. That part is taken care of, but there's a few other sort of design and manufacturing issues that I had to deal with as well. Let's go to the bridge. In many occasions in the past, I have had the opportunity to work the real deal 50s Fender basses. There's a few engineering issues with this bridge on this bass. So let me start with this. The actual coarseness of the threads on these saddles is much more coarse than the actual 50s threads. So what happens is the string itself does not sort of sit in a pocket. It sits on the tips of the threads. And this is reflected in your tuner. When you see the needle on your tuner kind of wavering and it doesn't seem to want to find its center, this is part of the reason why. So what I've done here is I have actually filed out under each string all the way across a flat spot. And that now is reflected on the tuner where the needle goes straight up without any wavering. What we've done by getting full contact on the bottom diameter of each string is we've increased the intensity of the fundamental note and gotten rid of those extraneous sort of overtones that you get when the string is sitting on a bunch of thin threads. Although Fender did go to great lengths to duplicate that style of the 50s basses, the finish and the reverse gear tuners, the wider spacing at the nut, that's all pretty authentic. But what they didn't really take into account was the string spacing at the bridge. So the second reason I filed out those saddles, it allowed me to spread those strings so that they were equidistant from the outside of the fingerboard on both sides. The string spacing, hole to hole, was too narrow for this wider style neck. I did file those out, like I said earlier, to kind of get a better fundamental note, but also to spread the strings out slightly. So the final issue to be taken care of on this bass, this bass side needs to be skimmed, and it's really the first couple of frets that are the issue. The treble side, it needs even less. But of course, because it's a maple fingerboard, it means the entire thing's got to be masked off. Little tiny bit of relief. This bass plays as smooth as butter now. This thing's ready now.